Everybody. So, as well as being a live stream, this is also going to be the first lesson in a program that will be for sale. Developing a program, and I think if I can get out what I know and put it into your minds, you'll have a very unfair advantage. You'll have no competition at all. Like, none. I guarantee you you never fucking been to the grocery store and seen the most beautiful women in there chasing a guy around, trying to get his attention, like they do me. The way I dress is meant to get attention. Let's talk about it now. Okay, so there's fundamentals. So first, I'll talk to you about what I do and on how it works. And as I talk to you about what I do and try to give you a perspective, right? So you at least have an understanding. Then I'm going to today I'm going to talk a lot about the fundamentals, about what you have to have in order to be able to pull off what I do, and what I do, and why it's so powerful. You see, 51% of all the books sold on the planet are romance novels. It's not men buying them. That's how starved women are for romance, and that's what I hope to teach you to be able to bring to a woman is romance. The kind of romance, you see, as a man watches a pornography and something on the screen in front of him that really gets his dick hard, right? Really fucking gets him. Like, I used to watch porno when I was a little kid. My mom used to have, we used to always have pay-per-view boxes, and when we had the satellite, we were always getting all that shit, right? I would stay up, and I'd sleep in the living room, right? I'd stay up later than everyone else so I could have the TV and sleep in the living room, and I'd jerk off. I'd jerk off. I did that shit all the time, man. I even got caught. What was I using? I used to use weird shit too. Butter. I used to use butter to jerk off with and shit, man. I was a fucking masturbating freak. I couldn't keep my hand off my dick. It was brutal. It was brutal, but I've been there, man. You know? So, yeah. Talk about, oh, shit. Yeah. You know, I've been around, and I understand, like, where people are coming from, you know? And I know now, honestly, I can get a girl damn near orgasming without saying a word to her, just looking at her. And I'll teach you guys that shit. I'm hoping to teach you guys that shit too. You know, if you want to pay attention throughout. I'm not sure how many of these lessons it's going to be before we can really get there, but I'm going to try to give you guys everything in order to give what I have to the world, man. Because I don't think there's anybody else walking on earth that has the abilities with women that I have. I think I'm the sexiest man alive, man. I do. I truly, truly do, man. And who knows, man? Maybe that's esoteric. I'm into the esoteric as well, and it might be that because of the belief that reality has shaped itself to be that. But either way, man, psychic I talked to yesterday told me I gotta do this. Okay, let's get into this. Let's get into the real lesson. So the first thing, when I see a woman, like they want to get my attention. Like the way I dress is you know, I don't. If you see me during the week, I'm just as effective, but you wouldn't see me with all this shit on, right? Like I'd be wearing work clothes after work as a bricklayer. I'm a bricklayer, and I go around dirty as fuck in my bricklaying stuff, and I'm equally as effective. Like, it's not about. This isn't what does it for me, but this helps. Like this works though. This is cool, right? This is a cool thing. But my game isn't dependent on my look at all. Anyway, so when I see, like, anywhere I go, like, yeah, as I said, let's talk about a specific situation. I was at a grocery store once, and there's a woman, and she was beautiful, and she was taking her time at the end of, you know, she was like at the other cash. Still at the same, like, the two friggin' little conveyor belt things. And she was, I guess she'd gone before me. And she was there, and I'd finished paying for my stuff, and oh no, I was with Travis. Travis was paying for his stuff. If we had a vibe going on, right? And, like, I smiled at her. And I pretended to ignore her for a second. And I came back, you know, and then she did something as well. And we had just an unconscious exchange. And then I walked up, I took her hand, and I, you know, shook her one hand, and I put my other hand over top. I gave her the hand clasp like this. Which is it's very forward, but it's very subtle. Like we're gonna discuss the reason why this is so something like this is so powerful. Or I can tell you, just like not even like it's weird that like when you understand subcommunications. See, most guys, okay, you're gonna have to. Okay, so let's get into the lesson. Let's get into it properly. Okay, so in order to understand women, in order to become a good seducer, an actual seducer, a seductive man, you have to let go of a lot of what you think about women, that you feel that you think is true about women. Some of the things that you can observe, and we'll go over a lot of that right here. I've got some notes down. But a lot of what you observe, there's explanations for it. And I believe we're going to get into some evolutionary psychology, and I believe that's necessary in order to understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so the perspective of a woman. Okay, you know, we'll get into this in a bit. We'll get into that's in my lessons here. Okay, so fundamentals. So attitude. What's an attractive attitude, right? Like, why is okay? I have to explain something before we can get into this. Okay, so behaviors on a man are like tits and ass on a woman. Okay, your behaviors are what she's looking at as to be attractive, right? As attractive. It's not it's not what you say. It's never what you say. It's the behaviors, okay? It's the behaviors that you exhibit. And the reason why is that through our genes, okay, the genes that have been most likely to pass on, this is where our instincts come in, is how do our genes pass on? This is how genes occur. The traits of people have certain traits, and those who are more likely to survive would be more likely to have a progeny that would also survive, and these traits have passed on into us, and they're part of our instincts. Okay, now this is what my game is. It's a very instinctual game. It's instinct more than logic. Okay, so like I am not a man that the women who chase me would chase. Okay, I'm a guy who lives in another guy's fucking basement. I don't have a driver's license. Like, I gotta take taxi cabs to work, and I'm a bricklayer that just goes around and fixes people's small little shit on their houses. Okay? Like, I don't pay taxes. I run around painting my nails. Fuck. But I'm telling you, I've got very good, high quality women who own properties that are very interested in me, that like me, right? I think these are some of the options that I have. I have also other options that you would not believe, because they all like me, because I hit them on an instinctual level, not a logical level where it's like, oh, it would be nice to be with that guy. Because no woman logically looking at my life would say, oh, it'd be nice to have this guy as my boyfriend. Like, I'm a walking caveman. Really? It's because I hit them in the emotional, instinctual part of their mind that I trigger those responses. Now, the reason what she's looking for instinctually is an alpha male. What she's looking for is a tribal leader. She's looking for the behaviors and characteristics of a tribal leader. These women have evolved to get a wet pussy for alpha males. Now, you can observe the same thing in chimpanzee society, where the alpha male the alpha male controls the pussy. Like, it's his pussy, and those who are not very close to the alpha male, like those who are close to the alpha male, will be allowed to get some pussy. And those who are, not useful, who don't bolster the alpha male's power in some way, he's not an ally, he's not allied with them or whatever, they've got to they sit in the bush and they got to wait for a woman to get close enough to them that they can rape her. Human beings have evolved in the same type of way. Okay? So anyway, that's just a touch on that, because we're gonna get into, so attitude. This is why attitude works. This is what's important about attitude. We're gonna jump into some actual explanation of all that. But the types of attitude are leadership. Always in whatever situation that you're in, the most attractive man to her is the man who's leading. And so it's whoever's leading the interaction, whoever's leading the group, is the one who she's going to be looking at as her option, right? Now, this is just it's automatic. It's an automatic process that they go through, and they've been going through since the fucking cave woman days. They want to know who the fuck you are, right? Because a beta male is also why women resent beta males, which we're going to get into later on. But there's a deep resentment for beta males, right? And we're going to learn about that. So your attitude should always be an attitude of leadership, and very dominant, a dominant attitude, and leader. Those are the powerful. Like, you want the attitude of a king. You want to feel like a king. You want to feel like you want to be powerful, right? If what women are attracted to can be summed up in one word, that word is power. Okay? Social power. And power comes through other people. So your ability to influence other people is going to be your ability is going to be equivalent to how much she's going to desire you. So the social power you have in the interactions in the environment that you're in. Now, of course, when you're in public places, how do you become the dominant, right? Well, I used to have a technique that I would do. I call it, I used to think of it as the celebrity effect, right? So I would go to bars, and I'd walk up and I'd start meeting every single person, every group. I'd go to every single group and go introduce myself and say hi and give good vibes on my way to the bar. And I would save the girl that I wanted to talk to for last. So I'd be building the expectation. And at the same time, who the hell would do that? Who knows everybody in the whole place? So I keep it in her mind, like, who is this guy? He seems to know everybody. Because the only one who knows that I don't know anybody in the whole place is me. As each people. So the first group is probably, it's the easiest, because it's just like, as soon as you're moving in, you're just like, hey, how's it going? And it's automatic. And you just, but nobody else, you act as you already know them. So as you walk in, you're like, hey, how's it going, everybody? They don't know you. But you're like, hey, how's the bar? How's everything inside? They think you're just asking, you're just asking like that. And then you get to the next one, you're like, hey guys, how's it going? I'm Rod, I'm just coming, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You're just talking. And you go to the next group, hey, how's it going? So the women are watching you do this. Like, the women that you're really interested are watching you do this and wondering why the fuck they don't know you. Right? It's like, everybody knows you, but they don't. And that creates... that's like a celebrity effect. By the time you go to meet her, she's really wanting to get to meet you, and at that point, it's very easy. It's very easy for her to be interested in you, right? But that's not necessary. That's not what I do today. That was something I did in the beginning, but it's an effect that I still try to have today. So when I go to when I go anywhere in public, I move my body a lot, right? So I'm like, and I'm looking at girls, and I'm making eye contact. I'm checking out women, and they're checking me out. I'm getting eyeballs on me. I'm very comfortable with having attention on me. So, as a bricklayer, when I'm in my bricklaying clothes, I kind of have to, I kind of gotta maybe move a little bit. I gotta kind of keep my energy. I always try to keep my energy high too. So sometimes, but I always try to keep like a dominant look, like a standing up straight. I keep my body language in check, which I'm going to try to give you guys a body language checklist as well. You know what? I don't even know how far. I don't think I'm going to cover all this in this live stream or this first lesson. There's going to be a lot here. But yeah, so attitude of a king. Body language. What's so powerful about body language? Why? So, the instant somebody sees you, you gain an impression of who they are, right? You have an impression. So, the instant you see a beggar, you know he's not the big, rich, powerful CEO, for instance, right? It's like, just by looking at somebody, you can tell. And sometimes, it's not just about clothing, because you see all the time these, celebrities running around and they've got regular clothes on, but they still have something about them. That something is their body language is correct. It speaks of a very powerful, it has power. So let me explain something else. If your first impression of me is that I'm a confident person, it takes a lot more for you to begin to think that I'm self-conscious than it would if your first impression was that I was self-conscious, right? So it's like there's a momentum. And it's a lot easier for me to make you really think that I'm very confident than if your first impression was that I was less confident, right? So I'm able to, once I have a first impression, and you continue to build on it. Because that's how we build our image of who somebody is. We can never know another human being. All we can ever know of them is the image that we build of them inside of our minds. And so you have to remember that all the tools she has, all the things she has to go on to tell her who you are coming from you, your behaviors. And your body language is the very first part of that. Right? If I'm holding myself as I look, if I look self-conscious, or in some way I look like I'm like very self-conscious, she's gonna feel that coming off. Okay, emotional contagion. She's gonna feel that coming off of me, and so you see, in order for us, as human beings, our greatest threat has always been, in the caveman days, our greatest threat has always been other human beings. And women have an innate fear of people who have bad intentions towards them. They feel it, right? If you, so what they call creepy is your insecurity. What it is you're holding you're positioning your body. See, this is how it works. You position your body, and even before somebody sees you, they may see you out of the corner of their eye. Instantly, a part of their brain, the 95% of their brain that's unconscious, is processing that image. It exists. It's in your periphery. You're over here paying attention to this. It's in your periphery. But your unconscious mind knows it's there. It's just not bringing it to the conscious because it's not important enough. So, but it is being processed. Right, because it's in your perception. It's just not in your conscious awareness. It's off over here. So instantly you begin to build, unconsciously you build an image of who that person is, even though they're off in your periphery. Okay? In that image, it determines how you would first meet them and the feelings you're going to feel when you first notice them consciously, what you're going to feel about them. That's the power of body language, because once you've started off and you've built an image in the person's mind that, holy fuck, this is a sexy motherfucker, right? Like you've got that image built just by your body language and the way you carry yourself. Now it's much easier for you to actually become that when you interact with her. Now, one thing most men fail to realize as well, it takes time to build a seduction. You should not approach a woman unless you know she wants to be approached by you. Because otherwise, you're like a caveman. You're showing your lack of social awareness. Like, if you walk up to a woman who doesn't want to be approached by you, like you're showing that you're oblivious to women, right? You're showing her that. There's nothing more attractive than that, or less attractive than that. And we all do it because we're taught that we're not even taught about this level of communication that women are on. But they're watching your actions. They're watching what the fuck you do, and that they're building an image of that. They're not, and they're feeling you out. If they like you, they'll show you. Like, they'll look over. You'll catch them looking at you, and they'll be like this with their hair, and looking at you. You notice them, and they're like, I don't know, or you look at them and they'll start smiling. Like, you'll notice that they fucking like you. You know what I mean? Don't go up to a woman until you've built that, right? So this is so subcommunication happens. Actually, that's up. We're gonna get there. We'll do this, but everything in seduction is a subcommunication. Okay, so it's the vibe between you, and how you build the vibe is based on body language and emotional contagion. Okay, so I know I'm making it scientific. But there's no other way to describe this in a way that you're going to be able to use it other than to turn it into basically a mathematical equation or a scientific kind of formula for you, so that you can logic this. Because I think that once you know what to practice, you'll begin to practice it properly. So seduction occurs. So she becomes attracted in the time between when she first notices you consciously. Oh, no, when she first notices you, either consciously or unconsciously, and the time that you say your first words. She's already determined how she's going to respond to you, whatever you say. I'll tell you that. Because I've said things, okay, I've said it doesn't matter. If she doesn't want to hear what you're saying, if she's not wanting to talk to you, it doesn't matter what you say. You're fucked. And if she does want to talk to you, it doesn't matter what you say. She wants to talk to you. Because it ain't the words that she's in. She wants to be in that. See, oftentimes when I'm speaking with a woman, I'm talking in a very different kind of way than I speak to a man. A man is mostly, I'm talking with logic, and we're using our logical brains, and we're just having a discussion together. Very much like this video is right now. But when I'm speaking with a woman, I'll be looking at her in the eyes. I'll smile a little bit. She might smile back. I'll be gauging her responses. I might, start putting my foot closer to her, just to lean in closer to her, because I want to kind of feel her energy. I just want to be closer to her, right? And she starts coming closer to me, you know, depending on her responses. So it's like, but there's all this like body language stuff going on. If I'm interested in a girl, I'm a woman, and if she's not looking at me, I have tricks for that later on. We'll talk about that. But if she's noticing me and I'm just like, wow, shit, and I'm feeling good, she's catching those good feelings that I'm feeling off of my face and off of my features and off of my body language. I'm just like, whoa. Mm-hmm. It's important not to verbalize what you feel. Just allow it. So, because when you allow it, okay, the unconscious mind, the brain loves to process information. This is why we listen to music, why we watch TV. We love to process whatever it is that we're processing. It feels comfortable for us to be processing information. And so, when you verbalize what you're feeling, it's a lot less, she's processing less information than when you do it subconsciously. When you do it through your body language, through your gestures, you know, your tone of voice. You begin to talk to her, you're just like, you know, sometimes it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, kind of forgot what I was saying there, and I'm just like, you know, has that ever happened to you? You just like forget what you're saying? I didn't actually forget what I'm saying, of course. I'm just talking about this is how you can speak with a woman. What happens is that the meaning of what you're saying is coming through in the tonality, not the words. This is why you can be talking about, it doesn't matter what you're saying, you know? It's just, you want to take the interaction. You don't want to be like, hi, I would never go up to a woman and be, hi, I'm Rod. Like, I just wouldn't do that. Hi, I just really wanted to meet you. I used to do that shit, so I know this. Believe me, I did that so much, ass kissing. Instead, I just look, nowadays, I look at her and it's like, shit. And I start just like feeling that sexual energy in me, and I'll give her eye contact. I'll look at her. If she gives me any indication whatsoever that she's not feeling me, I'll stop and I won't even look at her no more. I'm done. I move on fast. I take my attention completely off of her. She's already told me everything. Why do I need to go up there and talk to her? If she starts going like this and then kind of looking at you and finding ways to kind of pretend to look at you in her periphery and stuff, oh my God, it's on. Right? Now you got an energetic link. You're both paying attention to each other. You're both focusing on each other. So you move and you enjoy that instead of feeling, so the initial response of feeling insecure, oh, what do I say? What do I do? What do I say? And you're in your head like this. Stop all that. What it is you want to be focusing on is your own emotions and your own feelings that are going on inside your body, because that's what you're conveying to her. That's the level that seduction occurs on. And understand that. It's a level that most men are not even paying attention to at all. So I know this sounds like fucking alien language to you, but I implore you, listen to what I have to say, because I can teach you. And love is a process that can be created in the mind of anybody you want. But you'll understand there's, when you get good at this, and you can have any woman, you will become more careful with who you choose to be with. And hopefully if you grow in spirituality, you can learn to not feel that need. I'm hoping actually throughout this course to help to eliminate you of that need to feel validation from a woman, because it's probably the single biggest mistake that a guy can make, right? Anyway, so vibe and state. That's right. So your emotional state is what you're going to be conveying to her, and that's going to be what the vibe feels like. You see, she's a receptor. She's a woman. Understand, masculine energy is direct and it pushes out. Feminine energy, it's water. It absorbs the masculine energy, and this is how life is created. It's funny. Everything's a fractal of everything else. The macro and the micro are the same. The macrocosmic and the microcosmic. The woman's uterus and the man's semen, the man and his penis, which goes into the woman, right? So the man his sexual organ goes into the woman and shoots into her, and she receives that. So understand that this is something that is part of, we both have masculine and feminine in us. Life cannot exist without the two. But understand that she is a microcosm of the divine feminine, and she receives your masculine energy. Your masculine energy shoots. You really are a great leader. Thank you, Lucas. Thank you. Stoic. Anyway, yeah. So she receives you, and this demonstrates itself in the psychology of women as well. That they're very much a receiver energy, because they are a mini, just as you are a mini god. Zeus, the god of energy, the god of you're a miniature of the divine masculine, and the more you are away from that, the less you are in line with nature. Same with her. She is a mini version of the divine feminine, and so she is absolutely, just as you have the desire to go out and she has the desire to receive, as the water receives the sunlight, and as her vagina receives your ejaculate, your sperm. So understand that's also on an energetic level as well. This is why women love directness, and they love directness. They love that masculine boom. They love a man who's doing something. They love that building, that creative energy in a man. This is also why this is a demonstration to the world of that creativity, which she is. It's a sign. I just like doing this shit, really, because in the philosophy behind this was from a program called Black Ops, where it was Black Ops mind control program. And they said to build an Iron Man, in order to build your Iron Man, which was this bulletproof man, this caricature. So there was versions of yourself. You have different versions, and you can create an Iron Man. And what you do is you go into a state of mind of absolute confidence, and I went to a bar, and I wore my brief confidence, even though you're walking around in your underwear. So I do the same thing here now, and it was difficult at the beginning. It's no longer difficult. Now it's just an attention getter. Like, I know the woman I'm interested in is gonna see me, and she's gonna look at me. Just makes things a lot easier. But like I said, I don't do this shit when I'm at work during the week. Just do it on the weekends. So even during the week, though, it's not like my game shuts off. I dance, man. I move. I've got other tricks that I do as well. Because the thing is that she's going to be attracted to whatever it is in her environment that's grabbing. She's going to pay attention to whatever it is in her environment that's grabbing her attention. I want to be the one who's grabbing her attention. Right? Once I have her attention, it's a lot easier to seduce a woman who's paying attention to you than one who is not. I've learned it, it's an epiphany that I wish most men would have. Anyway, boom. Value. What is value, right? So what is value? And most of us men think of like cars and money, stuff like that. And that is value. It is of value, right? It is of value. So it's like how I would never date at all the woman, my customer, if she wasn't wealthy, which I wouldn't have even thought that I would want to date her if she was poor. Her money at least brought the idea to my conscious mind, where I began to logic it out. But I did have a thought about it, so I did think about it. I did consider it. and it was based on money. So there was a value there. So that money, so her having money was at least of some value to me in the mating market. To women, it's of more value because they have, from the dawn of time, they wanted to be with the man who had the resources, right? So you think about, you look at Jimmy in his cave just over here. Jimmy goes out and he kills a calf, and he's got three bitches over here. And he's, it was actually Owen from Real Social Dynamics that I got this analogy from. The names will be different and shit. But he's got this fucking calf over here that he's killed, and he's bringing it back to his three bitches, cave women. And fucking, they're all eating meat, and they're fucking having orgies together. When he's gone off hunting, they're pleasuring themselves and enjoying themselves and having sex with each other, and he comes back and they're all with him, and he's fucking them all, and they're eating great meat, and they've got a decked out cave like they're pimping, right? Your girlfriend Molly is over here at your camp, but she's all alone. You only got one woman. You're coming back from hunting and you got a squirrel. She's like, honey, I want to go over there to Jimmy's cave where they're having orgies. I don't want to be with you anymore. Like, I don't want to be here. It's no fun. But you can have the whole squirrel. I got it just for you. I've got this whole squirrel. Jimmy, I want to eat cow. I don't want to eat squirrel. And so off she goes, and you're left sitting there, and you've got your squirrel, but you've got no Molly. Because so ever since the day of caveman, her survival has been dependent upon choosing a man who could provide. All right, this is also why having a job, why women also go, okay, so there's alpha males and provider males, but provision is very important to her. To know she's okay, you're going to survive. Alpha males, you're the champion, you're always going to survive, right? She's got that energy of winning and all that stuff. You just got that strength to you. You got to have that taken care of. If you can't survive, if you're unable, if you're not demonstrating the survival capabilities and abilities to somehow to at least provision for yourself and shit, they're not going to be interested. But you don't have to be rich, because rich only brings us. See, if you're a rich simp, she's gonna still experience the beta male resentment. All right. So who determines so what is value? What is value in a section? What is valuable to her, right? What are traits of a valuable male? Well, your alpha male traits, and your ability to give her experiences. Okay, so a woman lives much more in her unconscious mind than a man does, right? They're much more imaginative. They've got a thicker corpus callosum, and so the unconscious and the spiritual, the unconscious, all this shit's more real to them, much more real, because they've got a thicker corpus callosum. Although they have a smaller prefrontal cortex as well, in comparison to men, even accounting for body weight percentages, because the corpus callosum, they're using more of their. We have a larger brain, but they're using more of their brain to compensate. Okay, and a part of their brain that they're using is the unconscious. And this is why her feelings, and this is the reason why they developed this. Is you think about in the caveman days, you're say you begin to resent your woman. There's no cops. You're in a fucking cave. We were. You want another woman. You're tired of her. She's a naggy bitch. She's fucking getting on your nerves, always bitching about shit. And, you could just kill her. And there was nothing she could do about it. Right? So she wanted, so for her survival depended upon being pleasing to a man. This is also why showing her that you're pleased by her is so powerful, especially if you're an alpha male. To be pleasing to an alpha male It's hitting that inner cave woman inside of her, one of those fucking instinctual drives that we're talking about. That's what we want to hit. We always want to be, we want her to be feeling us on that inner cave woman level, or the reptilian complex, as it's called in the brain. You see, that's the level of, we're not, although by the time we get to like mind control, some of the mind control stuff that we're going to do in these streams, we're gonna need to build some fundamentals. There's a hypnosis book that's called Reality's Plastic, and in that book, he talks about being the hypnotist. Right? He says it's the main thing. Before you can hypnotize somebody, they have to believe that you're capable of hypnotizing them. What I'm going to say is be the seducer. That's what you have to become. You have to become the seducer. In order to, you see, what we're going to talk about, and what these videos are going to be about, are about being a seducer, becoming, an internal change inside yourself that has to happen. You have to be that. You have to have the confidence. Before you can seduce her, you have to be a man who she wants to be seduced by. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to hit her in all the caveman traits. Why? Because the guy she would logically go for does not matter to us. We want to be the guy who she cannot live without. And a lot of the information I'm going to give you is going to be about, it's going to be from pimps as well, some pimpology. I've read quite a bit about how, because it did fascinate me how these men could have women going out into the streets night after night, doing what they do, and giving him the money. But after reading some philosophy and some pimpology, and beginning to understand that pimps are hitting women on their primal drives. And some are just addicting women to drugs, but there was some, but they want to give them. There's nothing stopping these women from just taking off with the money. They want to give the pimp the money. They want to, and so that it fascinated me, and I wanted to learn how do these guys create that in a woman. If I could create that with the woman, but have her as my wife, how powerful could that be? And that's what I want to give you. So body language, we've already talked about the body, so we're going to go into just a couple tools here. Body language. So your a body language checklist is just a list of items you should check about yourself periodically. Are you standing up straight? Like, is your chin up? Are you erect? Because you should always be erect, and your chin should be facing up. You're kind of looking downward. As you see, your chin sticks out a bit more, right? And that's what the Chad thing is with the big chin, or it's sticking up here. This is the look of a king. You should always have your eyes up. You should be presenting as a king. So wherever you are, you should always be, not always looking up. You break the rules once you get good at it, but your general posture, the posture that you go back to, we're all basically automatic processes, and we all have a comfortable posture that we usually stand in. And in order to correct that, we're going to need to consciously monitor our body language. So every once in a while, you do a checklist. Okay, am I standing up straight? Is my chin up? Am I smiling? What emotion am I displaying? Hands are not in my pockets. Arms are not crossed. And I know that used to seem weird to me, but this is allowed, this is a steeple gesture. So this is a gesture that I've adopted. One of the other gestures I used to adopt, so standing up. We'll talk about some standing up body language. I'll show some postures here. Standing up. You want your pelvis, basically your dick, to be forward, right? So you want to always but your body language should be like this, this should be, it should be open, and it should be erect, powerful, And you should be accentuating your dick. This is how you get sexual. Like, so you're, you know what I mean? You're kind of, but you don't even have to do that. You don't have to exaggerate that, because a lot of times I'm just like this, right? Sometimes one of my postures is to just out a little bit further, bend my knees back, and maybe just sit like this. Look over here like this. Sometimes that's the way I do. I bend my back. But you try not to be looking down this way, which is a lot of people's. Right? Look up. Look at people in the eye. Now, the trick to looking at people in the eye is look and nod. Look and nod, or some kind of gesture. So look and gesture. So as you look at somebody and you gesture, right? You make eye contact, gesture, or hi, how's it going? Right? Just get used to doing that. I never talked to anybody for the longest time, but just looking at people and nodding, looking at people saying hi. That's how you make eye contact with somebody and not have it be confrontational, right? 'Cause especially with men, you don't want to ever be the one backing down, right? You have to build it in you. So with me, I was very uncomfortable with eye contact with my life. So that was the biggest thing, was to train myself to make eye contact with everyone. And to, gesture, say hi, in order to take down, I'm not a threat. That's the thing, you have to give, I'm not a threat. So some kind of a gesture just to be like, I'm not a threat. I'm no threat. Hey. No winking, no, I wouldn't do any sexual things. See, but this is how you're going to build your day-to-day avatar. Arms uncrossed. So there's another thing Bobby Reel used to talk about. Stick your hands in your belt loop. So for me, getting my hands out of my pockets was a tough one. So I'd put my fingers right here in my belt loops underneath my clothes. It kind of frames your dick. But also your hands are out of your pockets. You look good. And you just kind of like that. Which works. And then after that, I started doing a belt grab. Oh, I got that shit. I'd just stand at the like, bus stop and I'd be like, boom. Shit. I still kind of do. I just still do belt grabs sometimes. It's a great pose. You're just like, it's a male stripper pose, but the reason why, it looks sexy. It's exactly what. Like, this works, man. This is a fucking sexy pose, man. You're just like, But at the same time, you're just like, you're looking out, just like, And you notice I move a lot. I'll stand in lineups places. I'll just kind of do this. What? I want to be getting noticed. Okay. Affirmations. We'll do affirmations in the next, let's see what time it is, let's see. Because if it's 10 minutes. Okay, so briefly we'll touch on affirmations, and that'll be the end of this video. So one way, in order to get yourself feeling a lot better, to become more powerful as a person, is to simply, so what we do as human beings, we have these thoughts, right? You have this tape that basically plays over and over in your head. Like, if you ever observe your own thoughts, which you should begin to do, right? You need to. I guess I'm kind of teaching you to become an occultist at the same time as teaching you how, and I'm teaching you how to wake up at the same time as teaching you how to seduce women. And that's not coincidental. That's how I became aware of what reality is. Once I realized how fucking much I've been lied to about females and what I actually needed to do. Don't chase women. Don't do it. Don't chase women. Instead, become a man that women chase. It should be your ideal, right? For the longest time, I had to run around chasing women. And right now, if I would be willing to talk with people, and if any questions, I'm willing to answer some questions and to talk to you about these things. But your ideal should be to become a man who women are chasing, rather than becoming a man who chases women, right? You should be the selector, right? Women are always the selector in a way. In a way, they're always kind of a selector, but you can be as well. Like, you can be a selector. You don't have to be with a woman just because she's the only one that you can get at the time. You can wait. And this course is also going to go into a lot of sexual energy and stuff. So anyway, how affirmations work is they replace the tape that you play inside your mind, because you think the same thoughts all day long, every day, mostly. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to replace that tape. So what I did was I wrote out a list of things, right? I wrote out a big sentence, and I continued to build it. But so one we could write, we could say now, I think it was, I'm a sexy motherfucker. Everywhere I go, girls want to fuck me. They just look at me and they know that I'm a sexy motherfucker. I feel it. And I flirt with girls all the time. And I'm very choosy about who I have sex with. Because I value myself more than them. Something simple like that. You know, write something out. Just a little like a paragraph. And just continue to say that shit. And as you say it, it's important that you also feel it as well. Alright? It doesn't do you any good. You know, it does you better, so you're going to make these changes on yourself. You're just going to change your body language. Take the steps that I've talked to you about. Another thing, body language is going to become your superpower, because you're going to have to learn how to read it. And there's a lot of signals that women give that are going to be important for you to know. But yeah, so how do they work? They replace that tape that's inside of your mind. But every time you see words, everything has... The unconscious mind doesn't speak English. It speaks a language of experience and emotions. That's why it's important to feel your affirmations. So he's just saying, I'm a sexy motherfucker, and you feel like you're a sexy motherfucker. Girls want to fuck me everywhere I go, and you just feel like that kind of man that girls want to fuck. It's true, I know it. Motherfucker, girls do. All of a sudden, you know what I mean? You just keep telling yourself this shit, you will see changes in your life. Also, there's mind movies. Oh, I don't have any. You know what, I had some hypnosis. Oh, I got a couple mind movies on my YouTube channel dedicated, like Make a Move. I've got several of them. Love Yourself. There's another one. There's several of them on there. Designed, to program some good shit into your head. Like self-love. It's a big one. You know what I mean? Self-respect. Self-power. Oh, there's all kinds of good ones in there that'll help you build the attitude that's how I built mine. And talking about affirmations was my first thing, and my body language checklist. Once I always had my body language was getting correct. I kept myself good, because the thing is about body language, once you're displaying more confidence in your body language, the instant people look at you, they look at you as a more confident person. And so they begin to treat you as a more confident person, which reinforces your own self-belief in your affirmations that you're a confident person. See what I mean? And you know what happens? What happens when you start fucking seeing results in reality? All of a sudden, you're seeing results in reality, you believe it even more, and you see even more results in reality. It's called a positive feedback loop, and I swear, I shit you not, it works. Anyway, guys, I think we've reached an hour, a little over, I think. And next Sunday, 10 o'clock, I'll be doing this again, and we can, if anybody's watching for the full time, next time we can we get some questions in maybe at the end. Peace out.